Hello, I'm Cody, and welcome to session 37 of my Pillars of Eternity Triple Crown turn-based attempt. Last time, we hunted down some more bounties, finally what I think is the end of them all. And we respect Chie out of the nerfed One-Eyed Molina's Gold-Fingered Spike Flinger build into a more or less identical build, but using hunting bows, and duplicated the Masuk hunting bow from Sagani so that she has that for blunt/piercing damage. And then we headed off for the White March and fought some ogres that were attacking this village here. And now...
Finally, some proper weather. What do you say to a dip in those springs?
And now it's time to just figure out what we do from here. We haven't explored really anything. We ran around the external areas of this village, but not gone into any of the houses. Not sure where to start. Oh. Start with the fishery. And kind of head around in clockwise, I guess.
Freshly
Oh.
caught! Effigy's eyes! It looks at me! Ah!
Oh, that's odd. A dozen pairs of globular eyes stare up piteously from the discarded heads of the day's catch, awash in a pungent sea of fins and innards. I guess we sift through the fish scraps. Your hand runs up against something round and fleshy the size of a melon. It is smooth and scaleless, and parts seem to be covered in hair. A discarded head, perhaps, but not that of a fish. I guess we pull it out. I don't know why we would poke it. With one hand on either side of the head, you begin to lift it out of the barrel, only to have it leap from your grasp as the head's owner springs over the lip of the barrel in an eruption of fish chunks that rain down over the market stall. Gross. The man who leapt from the barrel stands facing you, nearly naked save for a loincloth and drizzled in fish viscera. He is covered head to toe in scars, tears, and punctures, and the thorny imprints of lashings. Most are faded, like old memories. Despite that, the condition of the man's body is remarkable, the drooping skin at his flanks and elbows the only evidence of his advanced age. His face is placid, but the rest of him appears prepared for anything.
You must forgive, Zawa. I was not expecting you.
He looks you in the eye at first, but his gaze drifts now and then, settling on strange parts of your face as though distracted by new discoveries. If he is at all flustered, he gives no indication. So, what were you doing in that barrel? Zahwa scratches behind his ear, dismayed.
Resting my eyes, I thought. Waiting for the Malkachoa to bring me insight.
He shakes his head.
It would seem I dozed. A good thing my master was not alive to see it.
Zahwa blinks, leaning in to get a better look at you. His enlarged pupils seem to crowd out his pale irises.
Are you real?
Why is yes a lie? I mean, there's a truthful yes and a lie yes, but in what context does that make sense? I mean, there's no way to be certain.
We shall let the matter rest for now, then. Until the Malkachoa wears off.
What's Malkachoa?
A small white mushroom. I have heard it called snowcap in these lands. It can reveal the true nature of many things.
I still don't understand why you were in the barrel.
I was freeing myself from vanity.
I was thinking the same thing, Edar. Did he say sanity or vanity?
Consider, how can one be vain who is bathed in the smell of dead fish?
There is a proud glint in his eyes. I mean, would say by being prideful of your lack of vanity, you become vain in a way, but there's no option for that. Helps to be this beautiful.
I had the idea when I passed this way earlier. I am pleased with the results so far.
He smiles at a woman whose head is swiveled towards him as she passes by, a look of revulsion on her face. Distracted, her toe catches on a stone, and she nearly falls on her face. He claps his hands together.
Yes, quite pleased.
You often smear yourself with fish.
Gods, no. What a way to travel the world. The usual way is to smear yourself with the ashes of the dead. But they do not burn their dead here, so I have to make do with what the land provides.
He sniffs the air.
The cold seems to conquer the smell. Even now, the scent hides itself.
You don't seem... You don't seem like you're from around here.
I was visiting a monastery not far from here. I found it empty, but I met a messenger as I left. He carried a call for aid. Seeing that he would find no monks at the monastery, I chose to go in their place. Zawa is no longer young, but in combat he is still the greatest of the Takan people. It seemed only right that he should go.
Stalwart hired me as well.
I would not say I am hired. I seek no wage, and I promise no result.
I mean, honestly, same. Though I would never say no to magic items.
I have chosen a path, and my spoils come from walking it.
An uneasy frown settles on his face, almost a wince.
And this fortress, this Durgan's battery, its people are gone. Zawa would know why.
Sure, if you seek the White Forge as well, I could use the help of an experienced warrior. Zahawa's face tilts upward, his eyes fixing on the sky. He remains motionless, entranced. At length, he blinks as if awakening and looks back at you. He shrugs cheerily.
If one wishes to swim, it is no time to argue with the current. We are here together in this moment because a perfect force has willed it. Who is Zawa to argue?
He looks you squarely in the eyes, and for once they do not drift.
I will walk with you so long as the gods wish it so.
Then let us be on our way. I mean, yeah, he's a monk. He'll toss the grieving mother for now. I want to try him. And she feels like it's either her or Sagani are the least important members of my party. It feels weird in a way to get rid of my only kind of spellcastery type, but I like Sagani more as a personality, so...
Zawa is ready.
Certainly.
Zawa is ready.
That'll do.
Zawa is ready.
And he is indeed pretty much completely lacking in gear. Oh, there you go. Found a use for that. Ooh, these accuracy gloves I never paid too much attention to. There we go. Need a little bit more accuracy for Pelagina. I'll give him her hand-me-down. Do that for now. They might go somewhere else. I don't have anyone dual wielding, so let's see if we've got any interesting, what am I trying to say? Single-handed weapons that we can have him dual wield. Not much is really jumping out. Yeah, well, yeah, I think I'll grab the Measured Restraint and the... Where was it? Took. Gives dexterity and immunities to stuck combined with a belt that gives constitution and causes him to be stuck. That's probably not the best thing in the world for him, but it amuses me. I don't think the melee damage bonus over the accuracy. Con. Oh wait, and an armor of some sort as well. Ideally, I'd like to have something a little bit quick. Yeah. Much as I enjoyed going for the very heavy armors in the early game, it felt like kind of petered off in effectiveness. And getting more turns feels more important. Let's see, what was... Grieving Mother was doing a mixture of stealth and mechanic, so I had somebody could stealthily disable traps, so I'll keep doing that with this guy as well. No. Gain wounds at a faster rate. Ugh. Well, let's grab Weapon Focus Noble and have him use daggers and rapiers. Although, if I ever wanted him to go unarmed, I know I have some decent hatchets somewhere, but I think they're on other characters. I don't feel like faffing about trying to find them. I also already have like 3 people doing Weapon Focus Peasant, so yeah, Noble it is. Let's see. Not bad. Bonus burn damage. Let's put the burn damage. Hold on a second. I didn't even look at his stats. I should think about those a little bit while leveling up. Okay, so it's mostly might and con, basically. A little bit of dex. 2 weapon. I don't know the monk setup basically at all. Calls upon the power of the monk's psyche, reflecting half of ranged missiles targeting only the monk back to their point of origin. Only attacks resulting in a miss have a chance to be reflected. A head targeting strike designed to disrupt the enemy's ability to react. Enemies hit by a successful attack are stunned for 1 turn. It's a full attack, twice per encounter. That is basically the fighter's knockdown attack, but better, I guess. At least I think stun is technically better. Yeah. Better than prone. It's just the upgraded version of prone, it looks like. Although I think the fighter one has accuracy of plus 10 versus fortitude or something like that. But let's go with that. Yeah, just grab superior deflection. He's going to be in melee. Gains 2 modal abilities that allow him or her to switch between a bonus to deflection and a bonus to everything else. So there's no downsides. It's just you're either getting a huge bonus to deflection or a huge bonus to all others. That's fantastic. Sure. Let's just grab that. Leveling him up perhaps a little bit less thoughtfully than I normally would. Mostly by virtue of him recruiting me at the very start of a session when I just kinda wanted to do anything other than sit here at a level up screen, even though I enjoy this sort of thing, generally. Becomes capable of projecting force from his or her fists and inflicting damage at long range. Generates a shockwave around the monk each time he or she gains a wound, inflicting a small amount of damage and possibly calling an interrupt on all enemies in the area of effect. You like passives. Calls upon the power of a monk's psyche, reflecting half of range. Yeah, I already looked at that. Monk is able to inflict physical weakness. Melee critical hits cause the target to become weakened. Might and fortitude. Yeah, you just to passively anybody he crits gets weakened? Sure, why not? Fortitude as well. No. Monk gains temporary insights through endurance, gaining a temporary bonus to fortitude, reflex, and will whenever a hostile effect expires. In the blink of an eye, the monk streaks toward a distant target, inflicting terrible crush damage and penalties to all defenses on anyone in his or her path. Ah, the pain from a monk's wounds allows him or her to build damage reduction against incoming attacks. Yeah, that's the one. It's like a bit... I'm like a tiny bit reluctant to take things that are heavily focused on having a lot of wounds on the premise that, like, well, that then requires that I let him get hit to build wounds. Or I take Mortification of the Soul, but that, is only 3 times per rest. We'll never in a million years use. Is it even? It is at least a free action, so there's that. I doubt it would let you use all 3 in one turn. That would be silly. Skyward Kick. The monk launches a target into the air, slamming them back into the ground and leaving them prone twice per encounter. It's just an attack with only your primary weapon. That's just worse than the stunning blow from earlier and worse than the fighter's equivalent proning ability. Significantly worse than the... I guess it's accuracy versus fortitude instead of deflection, so it's attacking something he can't reliably hit with deflection. It's a way to get some damage. The monk meditates briefly on his or her pain, summoning 2 physical manifestations of suffering, one made of flame, the other of ice. For only 2 rounds? And a lot of wounds. Oh, no. I go with Rooting Pain to get some passive AoE damage going whenever he takes damage himself.
Too predictable.
Alright, well. I was planning to go into the fishery. Also, nice to see that Kanna's glitched weapon still exists. Always slightly afraid that's going to just phase out of existence upon loading a saved game.
We should check the barrels for more crazy monks.
Back to work, everyone. No time for dallying. A fine thing you reached us when you did. They would have burned the fishery next, mark my words.
He wraps your hand in a sturdy handshake.
And the last thing this lot needs is another excuse to knock off early.
He raises his voice at that last remark and glowers around the room. The other fisherfolk look studiously away and focus on mending nets, gutting fish, and sorting the day's catch.
Anyway, excuse the mess. If there's something you need, the clerk can get you sorted.
He raises a graying eyebrow at a man sorting various stocks and supplies near the back of the room.
Just watch your step if you have a mind to look around. The floors are slick and none too pleasant to fall on.
I guess I have questions about the fishery.
Been running it 4 decades now. I reckon I can tell you what you want to know.
What do you do here?
Just about everything. I track the day's catches and see that our nets and hooks are in working order.
He crosses his arms over his broad chest, throwing his shoulders back.
My family's been in charge of the fishery since the early days of Stalwart. I know the best spots to find frost diver and iron-tooth pike, and I make sure we don't overfish the speckleback.
Seems like a big operation.
It may stink of fish guts, but there's no place more critical to Stalwart's survival.
He nods, a blush of pride rising above his beard.
Herds come and go, so there's seasons when our catch sustains the village.
He glances around the fishery, bustling with activity and warm with the heat of the cook fire.
But try telling these folk as much. We go home each day covered to the elbows in fish oil and entrails, reeking of our work.
His eyes soften with the gaze of a stern but loving father.
Stalwart's shrinking, but it would disappear if we lost the fishers. I drive him hard, but I can't afford to do otherwise.
That appears to be all I wanted to know.
Need anything else?
Nope. I wasn't expecting anyone to come by the fishery for a while. Guess that's the proper way to go about it, really. Carry on like it's business as usual. Can I get you anything? Let me see what you have. Of course. Okay, wasn't really expecting this to be a shop, but... Every worm figurine. I think I already have one of those, but I guess I'll buy a second one to put on Zahua. Right? Yeah. That's funny. Shame they didn't make a new summon item rather than just giving me a copy of an old one. Lord knows there's enough different monster types in the game. They could have had me summon something else. Maybe some of those little mushroom guys that we fought in the early game. Oh. I'll find it without your help. Not give it up, you hear? Charlatans, I'll... A dwarf paces with his head down and his arms crossed, only stopping to hurl glances at the building behind him. His face is smeared dark with grime, and soot falls from his beard as he mumbles to himself. Work my hands into bloody stumps in this place, and for what? He kicks at a mound of dirty snow. Start with nothing, leave with less. He extends his arms out. I'm sorry for your loss. Don't be. I deserved all of it. The dwarf wrinkles his nose, nostrils flaring like a horse. Well, good riddance. Should have never settled here in the first place. Some things you mean to leave behind, come to find out you packed them anyway. And I'm not leaving until I recover what's mine. They can't deny me again. Not after this. Okran gestures at the burnt-out buildings. Those sweet-tongued priests took my heirlooms. Bury the memory of my past, they said. Now I don't even have that. What priests? Only ones here. They occupied the temple some time ago, picking at desperate folk like vultures. Those priests, Andra's dogs, said the goddess would forgive, that some things are best left to be forgotten. He nods towards the nearby temple. Their leader, Lafta, I believe. I believed her words. Another one of them, the gift-bearer, took my medallion. He closes his stocky hand into a fist. Now they won't tell me where it is. Your problem is you give meaning to meaningless objects. Here, let me show you something. I need one of your rings. Okran draws back his hand, but Zahwa gives him a trustworthy nod. After a moment's hesitation, Okran relents, dropping a jeweled band into Zahwa's outstretched palm. Immediately, Zahwa flings it into the lake. See? You are no worse off. Okran's face, already splotched with pink from the cold, turns a deep shade of crimson, and his mouth puckers as though his head were set to implode. After a tense moment, his breathing slows and his fists unclench, his original look of pained frustration returning. Jesus Christ, Zahwa, that was not the right thing to do. If I find anything, I'll let you know. That's the kind of talk I've grown used to these last few years, I admit. The priests may pretend otherwise, but folks here tend to look only after themselves. I'd be surprised if they return it willingly. They believe it's a sacred duty to cast the offerings to the goddess in some place where they'll be forgotten. Better to find where they drop them, I think. Alright, goodbye. I don't expect luck to grace me now, but if you find anything, I'll be here. Count on it. He gives you a vigorous nod. Honestly, after what Zahwa did, it almost feels like they should have just had me auto-fail this quest. It would have been bullshit, but it would have been sensible. He shouldn't even be willing to deal with me or my team after that.
Oh, it's working! Yes! I can't believe it! It's really... Oh...
The dwarven woman looks at you, a disappointed expression on her face. In her hands is a large rectangular box covered in strange dials and symbols. What's working?
My ore-locating divination tool. Well, that's what it will be. I have to calibrate it. Right now it seems to think you're a copper deposit.
Ah.
My Animancer contacts did suggest that a particular strong soul essence might interfere. I'm more interested in minerals in any case.
What are you looking for?
I'm trying to recreate the instruments that first led the Pargrin dwarves to this mountain. This is my latest prototype. Centuries ago, dwarves carrying tools just like this one followed their readings to what is now the battery. If I can recreate their work, then I may be able to find ore deposits elsewhere. I was hoping to test it, but my arrival was delayed by word of the ogre attack. I haven't been able to find anyone to venture up the mountain since.
I mean, I could go up there for you.
Really? That'd be wonderful. I just have to adjust the device, you see.
Her hands move swiftly over the box, adjusting knobs and dials.
It should point you toward metal deposits. We already know the battery rests on some rich veins, but I was hoping to get a reading of the surrounding mountainside. If you can follow the readings to ore and bring back a sample, I can use it to refine the device. Thanks ever so much for this.
A young man dressed in sturdy leathers glares at you. The creases in his face, tanned despite the scarce sunlight of the region, suffer a slight twitch as you approach him. I've got nothing for you. Speak with laughter if you must. He turns away, his nose wrinkled. Veins course under this woman's pale skin like icy fissures, Yet when she speaks, her voice flows warm and soothing. Andra welcomes you into her embrace. Her features soften into a look of practiced compassion. We are here to ease the pain of your past, ready to take your burdens. With a thin smile, she nods. If you let the goddess help you with your hardships, of course. Tell me about Andra. Andra's the goddess of redemption, deep like an ocean and gentle as a mother. She's here to relieve her children of their darkest burdens. We came here to aid the villagers, to heal the wounds of the past that fester in their souls. Tell me about the gift bearers. Gift bearers do Andra's most valued work. They carry the material burdens of unfortunate souls into her embrace so the goddess may help them forget. Okay, I'd like to ask about Okran's heirloom. The dwarf already asked. We gave him the counsel he needed. Slight irritation sharpens her tone. She seems to catch herself, modulating her voice back to a pleasant timbre. And naturally, we'll do what we can for you, too. Ask what you will. Okran wants his medallion back. She brings her hands together and nods. Okran, how often we let the shadows of the past become a burden, even to others. The medallion, it weighs on Okran's mind. You're kind to help, but what he really needs is to cast away those memories. Isn't that for him to decide? He did. He understood the solace that the goddess can give to those like him. It was explained to him that many have second thoughts, but one does not withdraw something offered to a goddess. In time, the memories fade, and they come to see the wisdom of their original pledge. His belongings, his past, now rest in Andra's realm, to be forgotten so that the wound of the soul may heal. This is the will of the goddess. The will of mortals or gods has never stopped me before. Laughter's expression breaks and she takes a step back. Her cohorts reach for their weapons. She immediately raises her hand. No! We have nothing to fear, the ripples in her voice quickly calm. There's no need to quarrel over the mysteries of a goddess's will. I'll tell you what you wish to know. Okran's heirloom was taken by Ixtli, chosen gift-bearer among us to be cast away as an offering to Andra. Only he knows where. She pauses and looks at you intently. You could ask him yourself, but he's on a trek through the mountains of Durgan's battery. If you run into Ixtli, tell him he has urgent duties to attend to here. It seems hard to believe that only the gift-bearer knows where Andra's offerings are cast away. Is it? Our goddess frees us from our earthly burdens. It's best if only one of us knows where they are taken, lest we all end up suffering under their weight. Alright, let's go with another line of questioning. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about? No, I guess there wasn't. Very well. Certainly I don't care to interrogate her about the specific nature of Andra. Although I suppose this whole thing could be a front, and they're misrepresenting Andra for the sake of stealing from people, but I don't get that impression. It would be an interesting twist. As you step outside, the heavy wooden door of the temple slams shut behind you. You hear someone barring it from the other side. It sounds like the priests have engaged in an agitated conversation. You get the sense they are discussing you, but you're also certain the door is too thick to eavesdrop through, although there may be other places nearby where you'd stand a better chance. Well, that's suspicious. Can't believe this. How could you? The wooden shutters of the temple's window close tight, muffle a set of voices coming from within the building. You can't quite make sense of the murmur, but cracking a shutter open would likely help. A rusty iron latch holds the window shutters closed. With care, you should be able to unfasten it without being noticed. Oh, this feels like the sort of thing that's a stat test. If it is, though, I would think listen with your ear against the shutters would be a perception test, which I'm phenomenal at, and unfasten the latch would be a dexterity test, which I'm almost as phenomenal at. So in theory, I should be fine either way, but if it's not a stat test, and listen with your ear against the shutters is just the incorrect choice because you won't be able to hear, then I don't want to take it. It's one of the things where playing the expert mode is irritating, because if I wasn't, presumably it would say the stat next to it if it was one. Although that might be buried slightly deeper in the selections. Let's try unfastening the latch. You carefully begin to lift the latch from its metal hook. Halfway there, the rusted iron resists with a screech. You freeze, listening to the voices in the hopes the priests didn't hear. Their conversation continues, uninterrupted. I mean, I guess if I have the option, I'll pour a bit of oil on it. You grab the latch and apply just the right amount of oil, nudging the metal until its rust gives way without a sound. Carefully, you pull the window shutter open enough to let the voices flow through. You hear a man speaking, his tone agitated. You do that? Hope the mountains will do it? What a fix! His sentence cuts as if the man were speaking to all sides of the room. Pose tells them instead. What then? You have lost an item, oil. Should probably have been at the beginning of that. You recognize Lafta's voice responding. Why would she? With all those dangers near the battery, our gift bearer won't delay, I expect. The man interrupts her. You always expect. Look where that's taken us. A dying village. Ogres at the walls. Ixtli's not back yet. And now I have to do his pa. His voice drops and seethes, muffling what he has to say. After a moment, Laughter replies. Do you think I wanted this? That I could have known in advance? A pause ensues, its tension growing until the priestess's voice cuts it in half. We can't wait for him. We must fish out the last batch, quickly. After that, we'll decide. Man responds in a broken voice, barely audible. You only distinguish the last words. Now, Russet Wood Pond, I'll go. Their exchange seems to end. Cautiously, you step away from the window of Andra's temple. Okay. Oh, and he's already going.
It must be soon. 2 days, no more.
This dwarf is busy staring into the fire, slowly puffing away on his pipe. As you greet him, he is visibly startled, and his pipe clatters to the floor.
Sorry. Didn't hear you come in. My ears aren't what they used to be.
He stoops, wincing to retrieve the pipe. When he rises again, he has a hand against his side. Are you hurt?
Wasn't the ogres, I can tell you that. Put a few arrows in one of those and they generally have the good sense to back off. But I've been hunting this wolf for near a year now. A man-eater. Cunning, nasty thing. Every time I get close, it just slips away. The beast has already claimed many lives. The first victim was my son, Saldrin.
Thirsk looks down at his pipe for a moment, features hardening. Zahua leans in eagerly. Go on? Thirsk furrows his brow a moment, but continues anyway.
Got the better of me this last time. Distracted me long enough for one of its kin to turn up. Nearly bit me clean in half. I'm a few weeks out from trying again.
You said this thing is a wolf?
No ordinary wolf. A monster. This creature is big. And I see the signs it leaves behind. The mess it made to the last couple of hunters and the elk. Doesn't always finish its meals. Damn thing might be sick. Might have a bullet in its jaw. Something. In any case, it needs to be put down.
Where is this beast?
It roams the russet wood out to the west. Seems to have decided the lake is a good place to find prey. Yeah. It's picked off some scattered ogres from time to time. But mostly it's been going after hunters, travelers.
Well, I'll keep an eye out for it.
It needs doing. But I warn you, this beast is not to be trifled with. It must make its lair somewhere to the west. If you mean to go there, keep your wits about you. Watch yourself on the mountain. In these lean times, everything looks like prey to something.
Who are you feels like something I should have been able to ask way at the beginning of the conversation, but it's too late now, so farewell. Okie dokie.
Don't see the harm. Building's thirsty work. Figured you'd be out of here in a flash after the fighting died down. Most people don't stick around after they figure out the ogres are making regular visits. I would have helped fight them monsters off, you know, if I didn't think I'd just get in the way. And with you there to handle things, everything turned out well enough, didn't it? Don't see why Havrick's still sour at me.
You know, it just occurs to me, I have no idea why all of these events have been happening. I traveled this map last session and saw none of this. And then I loaded and started wandering around and saw it again, which I wonder if the game interpreted me loading the game in the same way as me like entering and exiting a building or leaving and re-entering the map, and it like reloaded the zone into a post-battle state that it wasn't in before. It's, whatever it is, it's odd. Alright, well, what's this about Havrick?
Oh, Havrick's the innkeeper over at the Grave's Rest. I may have been hiding in the inn when the fighting started. The raid didn't improve his disposition any. Did you know he has a whole case of Fenlin liquor in there? I keep offering to buy it off him, but he says he's saving it up for when the battery's open again. As if we're gonna last that long. Anyhow, he said he'd thrash me up and down the mountain if I didn't leave him be.
I see.
It's delusional, is what it is. Point of fact, what with you dealing with ogres and everything, maybe you'd, be willing to help me out.
From saving the town to swiping liquor. There's progress for you.
Averick keeps all the good stock in the inn cellar. Out of sight, you see. I mean, it's bound to be under lock and key, but I'm sure he wouldn't miss a single bottle. Not with everything that's going on.
And what does stealing wine for you have to do with fighting ogres?
Well, Averick can be a little intimidating when it comes to his beverages. But otherwise, not much, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not going to rob the innkeeper for you.
Shh, all right, keep it down. I didn't mean anything by it. But if you happen to come across some, and maybe you could share?
I dread discovering what passes for cuisine in this place. Ooh, still can't feel my fingers. Thought I'd found shelter when I stumbled across this little village. Guessing you did too, huh?
Farah raises a frosty mug to you, even through the warmth of the hearth. Even though the warmth of the hearth reaches you here, her hands are wrapped in weirwool and her ears muffled by a hat. Her face has the taut, wind-beaten look of someone who's recently come from the road.
As much blood as there was in the streets, I'm lucky the ale's still flowing.
She takes a drink, and as she tilts her head back, you see a bruise purpling her jaw and the crimson bloom of a scraped knuckle. What happened to you?
Thought all the whispers about Durgan's battery were just village superstition. And maybe they are. But I might have been on my guard if I'd listened. I was part of an expedition, hunting for relics from Durgan's battery. We picked up a good haul, too.
She takes a slow swallow of her beer.
So it figures that's when the winds pick up and the sky starts dumping snow. We lost sight of the road. Meanwhile, something else found us. Took Liam out before we even realized we were surrounded. And then we see him coming out of the snow. These little four-armed wilder. Lagufoth, they're called.
She shakes her head, staring at the embers in the fire pit.
Quick little bastards. Francesca and I held them off as long as we could, but when they filled her full of darts, I turned tail and ran. Found my way here and thanked my luck for escaping the Lagufoth. Then come to find out that this town's got an ogre problem.
I'm sorry to hear about your friends.
That's a kind sentiment. I'll mourn them when I get home. But I've got to retrieve our haul if I'm to have any hope of that. I need to get those artifacts. Not that I'm in any shape to go after them myself. But I can't afford to return to Defiance Bay without something to show for my expedition.
Apprehension creeps into her expression. She stares into her mug, swirling its contents.
But you've got your own expedition to the battery, don't you? While you're out there, maybe you could look for my goods. Whatever's left of them.
She looks up from her mug, hopeful.
I'll give you a cut for anything you bring back, of course. I ain't asking for charity. I just can't afford to go home empty-handed.
She brushes her nails along the side of the mug as that anxious look returns. I can help.
I'd sure appreciate it. Bring back whatever you can find, and I'll see to it that you're compensated.
Hey there, good timing. You can watch me trounce Berswin. Used to play a game like this in Masuk. Good fun until someone loses a finger. Once, Andred. You won. Once. What are you playing? Orland's head. Andred grins sheepishly. That's what they call it anyhow. Smooth. You pick a target, see, nose or ears. Nose is worth more, but you've got 2 ears to work with. You get less points the further out from the target you get. So, for the mouth and eyes, no points if you miss. Fancy a game? 3 throws each, and whoever gets the most points by the end of it wins the wager. I'll put down 50 pounds if you will. Sure. Andrew pulls a throwing knife from his belt, turning it over in his hands. Wager's 50 pounds, you in? Yeah, here's some money. Lovely, I'll go first, just to show you how it's done. Andrew aims carefully and throws his blade. The knife hits the ear, scoring 7. Andrew walks up to retrieve the knife. Your turn. Go for the nose. The knife hits the nose, scoring 10. Andrew aims carefully and throws his blade. He hits the ears, scoring 7. Andrew walked up to retrieve the knife. Your turn. Go for the nose. Hits the mouth, scoring 5. Aims carefully and throws. Also hits the mouth, scoring 5. My turn. Go for the nose again. It's the eye, scoring 5. That's 20 for me and 19 for him. Not bad. That's 20 for you and 19 for me. Not bad, stranger. Looks like you win this one. Alright, I won. Here's your prize. Guess I ought to get in some practice. Oh. That is again something that probably uses perception, so I'm likely the most perceptive person on the continent.
Oh, it's you. I'm so glad you came by. I hoped I'd have the chance to thank you properly. They told me what happened. God's bless you, ma'am. I owe you my life. I know it was foolish of me to run in there, but this ring is all that I have of my family.
How are you holding up?
Oh, I'm managing. Fenway's letting me stay with her until I'm back on my feet. Everyone's been lovely, really. It was hard seeing what's left of the house. But Rayvald says he's going to see a hut raised for me soon as they get the logs.
I mean, she already told me what's special about the ring. I don't care about getting the guy outside some booze, so... Farewell.
Owena! Go check on that Orland. Make sure he don't steal nothing. Never seen such a bloodbath. Feels like we got half the town's survivors in here, just drinking to forget it.
The dwarf surveys the crowd, his expression sober despite the half-empty flagon by his hand. He shakes his head and looks to you, remembering himself.
But you must be looking for some refreshment, too, after the way you handled them ogres. Or perhaps a room. Say the word and I'll give that shifty little Orland the boot.
Well, you might want to know that Rayfold asked me to steal your liquor.
He did he? That shifty little crook never learns. I'll have it put away somewhere safe. Thank you for doing the decent thing. Here, for your honesty. Back to warm your hands, eh? What can I do for you?
I'd like to hire a room.
Top quality bear pelts on every bed. You won't be disappointed.
Let's see, what can we get? Oh, 2 to Dex, Might, and Con, or just 2 to Dex and Might. Alright, well. Do I actually need to rest? Canna, yeah, I definitely need to rest. Canna's
Warm your hands, eh? Top quality.
exhausted, so I have to lose out on my perception, but oh well. I could have sworn we've dealt with Nairi the Deft Hand before. Whatever. It's only 175.
No offense, but I already paid Halfrick for this room.
Excuse me, was there something you need?
She knits her fingers together and looks intently at the floor. No, farewell. Just exploring.
Hello? Hello?
Now here's something. I'm on the trail.
Jesus.
10
a lot of
Pond
traps.
says she trips them.
You're awful.
I don't know if they care if they see me disable a trap. I mean, they're just betting on me tripping traps, apparently, so...
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.
So many traps.
Silence surrounds me.
The hero of the hour, he laughs. Afric send you down here to check on us. We aren't causing you trouble, on my word. Yeah, what are you playing? Dozens. Care to test your luck? Each of us puts down 50 pans, 3 wins, and you take the 100. No. Do it yourself, what can I do for you then? Who are you? Bane Lacy. Humble fisherman. Though with the ogres coming down all the time, well, I'd sooner fish for truth down the bottle than for the time being. Alright. Guess that's another way to get some of that liquor if I wanted to.
Don't you ever miss
If
it?
you weren't gonna fetch
The
the
sound
liquor
of your
for
own
me, you
tongue.
didn't have to tell
The
Havric
smell
about
of
it.
something
Now
familiar
he's
on the cook
banned me
fire.
from the inn altogether.
Didn't mean to interrupt whatever Sagani was saying, but clicked before I saw she was talking. Maybe that'll teach you not to plot thefts with strangers.
Very funny. Look, what do you want? You've already ruined my plans for the next 3 evenings.
Their absence is part of my suffering. I keep it close to my
Been
heart.
looking everywhere for
It
you.
gives me strength.
If only absence could fill my belly as well as a good caribou shank.
The man is sweating despite the cold. He opens his mouth to speak, but all that comes out is a loud, hacking cough. He bends forward, bracing his hand on his thighs, while he heaves and gasps. After a lengthy duration, he raises a finger, still panting. All Afric's fault. Damn fool sent me to the other side of town, looking for you. At last, he stands up, wipes his dripping brow with the back of his hand, and then offers that hand to you in greeting. I shake the hand. Pleasure to meet you. I'm the, captain of the militia around here. Really, I didn't see you during the ogre attack. See, I was, guarding the Gref's Rest. Someone had to make sure those ogres didn't burn it down like they did Katie's house. Damn shame, that. He frowns and shakes his head solemnly. I wanted to catch you before you went running off into the wilds. See, there's a few dangerous folk you might want to be on the lookout for. Plus, if you're heading out to Longwatch Falls, I thought you might could pick up a thermal pearl for me. He looks away and twists the toe of his boot into the snow. What's a thermal pearl? Well, that's the thing. I already found it. I just need someone else to go and get it. Saw it in the hot springs up near Longwatch Falls. Would have grabbed it myself, but that's when I looked around and saw the Langafeth. Must have been 50 of them. He spreads his arms wide. I would have fought, but I started to wonder what the rest of Stalwart would do without me, so I ran. For the sake of the village, of course. Okay, what is a thermal pearl? They form in the hot springs, something to do with all the minerals in the water. Smell kind of funny, but they're full of minerals, just have to crumble them into a pint. He grins, and you notice his gums are bleeding. What are you talking about? Just trying to keep my teeth as long as I can. The game and fish diet ain't easy on anyone. Like I said, the pearl's in one of them thermal pools near Longwatch Falls. Shouldn't be hard to spot. Okay. And something about dangerous folk. We got our share of crazies out here. Most of them aren't even from the village. He laughs at his own joke. Latest groups I've heard of were the Gleaming Society and the Sisterhood of the Slaked Skull. But Renning Guild set aside some bounty money to see that these troublemakers were taken care of. You bring me the heads of their leaders, and I'll give you the payment. Really did think I was done with bounties, but I guess there's more in the DLC. Alright, tell me about the Gleaming Society. Crazy pack of radicals that want to topple governments and kill the wealthy. Well, sounds decent to me. Makes the War of the Defiance look like a food fight. Duke Avier and the Regent of Red Sarass both declared them illegal, which is probably the only thing those two would agree on. Or would have before all the murder and mayhem in Defiance Bay. He frowns, scratching the back of his neck. Anyway, check Longwatch Falls to the east. That's where they were last seen. And the Sisterhood of the Slaked Skull? That'll be Mezpla. Of all the members of the Sisterhood worship Bareth. By sending as many folk back to the wheel as they can, he shivers. They've been poking around Durgan's battery, and Whale knows why. But you can understand why no one around here was pleased to hear about it. Passed through town recently. Didn't stay long, but they stopped at the Temple of Andra. You might see if Lafta knows something. If you come across them, be careful. They're unpredictable. Alright. They've destroyed the stockade. Mother, it's...
Enough. They're gone.
She holds up a hand, which is missing the final joint of the ring finger. But it's her voice, sharp and steely, that silences the young man. As he glowers at his toes, she turns to you with dark circles under her eyes and a smile pulled taut across her thin lips.
The deliverer of Cadnua. Thank you for making the journey. Abida knows it's a long one. Well, I'm sure you wagered on a more civilized welcome. Still, we're much obliged for your capable intervention.
She shoots the young man a brief but stern glare. He pulls a knife from his belt and an apple from his pocket and sets to work. It was no trouble. I'm here to help however I can.
Then perhaps you can help us find something.
She folds the page in her hand with a quick and merciless pinch.
Stalwart isn't much more than a grease stain on a map. What roads we've got in the White March are basically tracks in the snow. And for every trader or adventurer that comes through, 3 of our own leave for good. But it weren't always so. There was a time when kings and queens sent their firstborn to these mountains, when the White March was the envy of empires.
Her eyes shine, and for an instant she looks like a much younger woman. Something to aspire to, then. You have the evidence it can be done. And what does that have to do with me?
The Pargrin dwarves transformed the White March once. We could bring some of that greatness back to Stalwart. But we need the White Forge.
She raises the map and taps a spot in the middle of a white and gray expanse. Alright, never heard of it.
Of course. Been over 200 years since anyone's felt so much as a summery breeze near it.
She smooths the creased map.
I'm hoping you can do something about that.
She ignores the young man, who shakes his head at the crackling logs. I've worked with my hands, but smithing was never my specialty.
I'm not asking you to work the White Forge. I want you to find it. We've been trying to breach Durgan's battery for over a year now. Problem is, the other expeditions can't so much as dent the front door.
She rubs at her fatigue-shadowed eyes. And that's why you need my help.
That's the long and short of it. We're laborers and fisherfolk, not adventurers. But Durgan Steel could put Stalwart on the map again. Open up the mines, bring in new business. We just need the White Forge.
She thumps the desk with her fist. All right, any idea of where I should begin?
The battery's up the mountain to the north. A good hike away.
She jerks her head in the direction of the slope behind the house.
Near Galvino's place, huh?
Aldrich says in a breezy tone, but Renengild falls suddenly silent, consternation hardening the lines on her face. He smiles and draws his knife across the apple again.
So it is. Though I was going to suggest dealing with that ogre camp before anything.
Compresses her thin lips into a frown. All right, tell me about this ogre camp.
Belongs to Flames That Whisper. Matron Baragon's clan. Hunters tell me they've been active of late.
Hunting elk and otherwise minding their own damn business.
He pops an apple wedge into his mouth and chews it aggressively.
Minding their own business. Never mind the latest expedition's disappearance, or the broken stockade.
He pinches the bridge of her nose, squinting.
I'm saying we shouldn't agitate him further.
He makes to toss another slice of peel into the fire, but he fumbles and drops his knife. He bends to pick it up, cursing. I guess I could confront Baragon if it will help Stalwart.
One less matron would make our walls safer. What's left of them, anyway. Also, Baragons like to have whatever the last expedition found. Rumor has it they disappeared near her turf.
Crosses her arms and looks over to Aldrich.
Killing a matron will only make our problems worse. The way to approach Baragon is with your hands held high.
If anyone could parley with an ogre, I suppose it'd be you. But they aren't known for their patience with prattle.
All right, tell me about Galvino.
Mestre Galvino, as the old crosspatch prefers it, lives by himself and keeps the wilder and beasts at bay through sheer foulness of his temper.
She means to say he's a skilled smith and animancer, who's lived in the shadow of Durgan's battery for over a decade.
He looks over his shoulder at you and Renengild. I'd say that's worth mentioning, Sagani folds her arms.
And he butters his bread on both sides and fits his left shoe before his right. But that's neither here nor there.
She crosses her arms and crumples the page in one tightening fist. I see.
Ain't nobody here fond of the man, but he's a clever hand and a quick study. It's a fool who thinks he stayed so close to the battery without figuring something about it.
You said as much to the last party, and we haven't seen hide nor hair of him since. Maybe they didn't run afoul of Baragon's ogres after all.
She raises a gray eyebrow at him. Aldrich shrugs and turns back to the fire.
Just watch your step. Galvino's place is a ways east of the battery, and folk who pass it bring unsettling tales.
Got it.
Good. Before you leave town, stop by the Grave's Rest. Most visitors to Stalwart spend some time there, so Hafric and his patrons may be able to give you the lay of the land.
Way ahead of you there. Don't know about you. I'm all parched up all of a sudden. Well. Thanks, there's only one more interior to check.
They gone? Have those nasty brutes finally left? I heard the ogres outside. tearing down walls and murdering folk. Don't remember how things got this bad.
The elderly woman kneads her hands. Her knuckles are swollen knobs, and her palms are ridged with calluses that scrape and rasp as she rubs them together.
But you're the new adventurer. Renengild's latest volunteer.
She squints at you, leaning precariously forward on her wobbling legs.
A real spitfire, she told me. Bet you'd whip those layabouts at the mine into shape.
Alright, can I ask you anything interesting?
Did you say something, dear?
Tell me about yourself.
Me? I was the overseer at the mine, back when it was running. Got shut down decades ago when we couldn't sell or ship the stuff. But I still remember plenty about the mining business. And I got as many folk as I can digging out the entrance.
She taps her head, a spotted dome under a thinning thatch of hair.
Been praying to the salty wench that I don't forget too much afore they finish the job.
Alright, that's all.
Got to speak up? My hearing ain't what it was.
Does everyone else see that Stelgar and the undersized breeches?
No idea what Zach was talking about. I thought there was going to be a response from one of my other party members to contextualize it, but apparently not. Well, exploring the village took a bit longer than I anticipated, so I'm going to call that an end to session 37. Thank you all for watching and/or listening, and I hope you will join me again in the next session.